In the quiet chambers of the heart, a question begins to echo. Who is it that seeks God? And who is it that is found? Meister Eckhart's words pierce like a soft lightning through the veil of duality. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. What does it mean to see with the same eye as the divine? It means that the act of seeking is itself already a sign of presence. It means that the gaze we turn toward the eternal is not separate from the eternal turning inward to gaze back through us. There is no distance to cross, no throne in the sky, no ladder to climb, only a veil, and even that is made of our own thoughts. We've long been taught that God is outside, above, beyond, other. But the mystics, the ones who do not theorize, but live this truth, whisper another possibility, that the seeker is the sought, that your longing is not proof of absence, but evidence of a deep, silent presence calling itself home through you. When you close your eyes, when you sit in stillness, there may be a flicker of light, a sense of vastness behind your gaze, not in front of you, not ahead, within. It is subtle, easy to miss, but once you touch it, you know, the seer and the seen collapse into one, and the heart no longer worships an image, but bows to the unspeakable intimacy of being. This eye through which you see beauty, love, sorrow, joy, is not merely human. It is the same eye that shaped stars from silence, that moves the wind without hands, that beats your heart with no command. To see God is not to reach somewhere far. It is to stop, truly stop, and look with the eye that has never been born and never will die. That which sees without judgment, that which knows without thought, that which is, and in that recognition there is no worshipper and no worshipped, no servant and no master. There is only the flame looking into itself and knowing, finally, that it was never to Most people imagine the divine as something separate, a force in the sky, a voice in scriptures, a being too vast to ever be known. And so they chase visions, rituals, systems, hoping, always hoping, to become closer. But closeness implies distance, and the one we name God is not far. In fact, the distance is the illusion, a trick of the mind, which splits the world into subject and object, me and you, seeker and goal. But if you sit long enough in silence, if you allow your thoughts to rise and fall without attachment, a strange thing begins to happen. That which was watching the thoughts does not vanish, it grows more vivid. Not with color or shape, but with stillness, a radiant, ungraspable awareness. And that awareness is not yours. It's not something you generate. It has no edges. It's the same awareness that is behind all eyes, beneath all forms, before all names. This is what Eckhart meant. Not a metaphor, not poetry, but a direct transmission. There is no real separation between the one who prays and the one who receives the prayer. There is no real separation between the eye that sees beauty and the intelligence that breathes beauty into form. If you search for God in the sky, you may miss the presence in your own breath. If you wait for thunder, you may never hear the whisper. The miracle is not that God is great. The miracle is that God is here, now, as this moment, this seeing, this simple act of being aware, of being aware. And this is why the mystics do not speak much. They point, they guide, but they do not define. Because the moment you try to grasp it with thought, it slips. But the moment you rest into it without effort, you are already home. Imagine for a moment that your entire life has taken place in front of a mirror, but you've never noticed the mirror, only the reflections, people, events, stories, thoughts. They move across the surface like clouds, and you, like most of us, identify with them. I am this body. I am these memories. I am what I want, what I fear, what I know. But what happens when all of those pass away? What remains? What remains is the mirror, untouched, untainted, ever present. And that mirror is pure awareness, the I. Behind the I, in the teachings of the mystics, there is no God out there apart from your own capacity to perceive the sacred. To see the divine is not to witness an object, but to dissolve into the seeing itself. It is not about beliefs. It is not about dogma. It is not even about spiritual experience in the dramatic sense. It is a quiet, deep intimacy with the essence of your own being, and that essence, says Meister Eckhart, is already one with God. There is no me and God having a conversation. There is only consciousness recognizing itself. There is only the divine playing both roles, the seeker and the sought, the question and the answer. This is why silence is so central in mystical traditions, because silence is not empty, it is full of presence. When the noise of the mind subsides, you don't fall into nothing. You fall into everything, and in that stillness, you begin to notice something subtle but profound, that the love you feel for God is the same love God feels through you, that your longing is God's own longing to awaken as you, that the I through which you see, feel, and live is not separate from the very source you thought you had to find. You are already the beloved, already the light, already the opening through which the infinite touches the finite. The search for God, truth, or awakening so often begins with a sense of separation. We feel lost, distant from something sacred, and imagine that what we long for is far ahead, beyond the clouds, beyond death, beyond the stars. But what if this longing is not a gap to be crossed, but a veil to be lifted? What if the seeker is not chasing something external, but is being gently invited inward by the very presence it seeks? Mystics like Meister Eckhart remind us, the eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. This is not a metaphor. It is a direct pointer to the deepest truth. The subject and the object collapse. There is only seeing, only presence, only now, and in this space, no hierarchy exists, no division between sacred and mundane, between heaven and earth, between the knower and the known. This realization does not arrive with fireworks. It often comes quietly, like the dawn, gentle, golden, obvious in retrospect. It whispers rather than shouts. You begin to notice the sunlight on your skin, the breath rising and falling, the stillness behind each sound. Everything begins to shimmer with the same sacredness. You are not separate from the mystery. You are the mystery, looking at itself. And when this is seen, not intellectually, but through being, a deep peace settles in. There is nothing to become. There is no distance to God, only the dance of awareness, infinite in form, yet always one. The river returns to the ocean and realizes it was never anything but the ocean in motion. And so it is with you. Let this truth not just be heard, but lived quietly, gently, without effort. And as you walk through your life, remember, the gaze of God is not above or beyond. It is right here, looking through your very eyes. Let this be your prayer, not words, but presence. Let this be your enlightenment, not a destination, but the recognition that you were always home.